What can I say, guys? I think it's no surprise to anybody here that I'm a huge fan of Jimi Hendrix, and it's always really cool when watching Jimi Hendrix to see his like wall of Marshall amps, like all of those plugs he's lined up and stuff. But there was just never anything in my head that ever clicked to be like I should have a Marshall stack or I should have a Marshall cab. Marshall anything really. But after watching this show, Bocchi The Rock, and seeing her use the JCM 900 with a 1960 cab, the desire to actually own one of these started to increase. Like, I like the Hendrix one too. I forgot what that one's called, but it has like the woven front. But the desire for that 1960 cab really started to sit in my head. And then one day when I go to the local guitar store, I see one, a pretty beat up older one for a really, really good price. And I just couldn't resist plugging it up. I couldn't resist trying it out, right? And ultimately, it was like something I really hadn't experienced before. Now, if you've watched the channel before, you know that I used to own a Marshall 212, it's what's designed to go with the DSL line of amps. And I had that with my Origin head for a while, and it was pretty good. But I had never really gotten that full Marshall Angle 412 experience before. This was the first time I really tried one. And this was a flagship cabinet. It wasn't an import. It's a made in England flagship 1960 cab, and it just sounded so good. And honestly, in my opinion, it recorded pretty well from the iPhone. I was surprised at how well the directional sound captured from just the iPhone. Like, it's not like something I experienced before. I've been away from tube amps for a while. I still own them. As you can see, I had brought out my PRS MT15 to try out the cab, and I brought a Origin 20 to try out the cab, and I thought it sounded really cool. But the funny thing about this cab in particular, and I've used other tube amps, but this cab in particular felt like it didn't leave anything for you to hide behind. It felt like it wanted to expose you. It wanted to be super honest about what you were playing. And it was just crazy because I was making so many mistakes and I just couldn't get a groove going. I know a lot of people, when that happens, that would make them not want to buy something, but that was the type of thing that just made me chuckle and be like, okay, so this is going to expose me. This is going to force me to really be on my A game and play the best of my ability, because I kind of really dig stuff like that, where it's really forcing me to be attentive and really be on it in terms of what I'm playing. The cab was surprisingly light too, and it was just really cool to see it, because it just took me back to watching the anime for the first time and seeing her plug into that 900, and I'm like, man, I hope one day I could have a 900 to go with this thing and really complete that Bocchi stack. But even just having the cab just has me super grateful, and I'm very thankful to own this thing now. You're definitely going to see me using it at some of the street preacher gigs when I want that martially sound. It's really cool, man. It's really cool. I'm still trying to figure out how to talk inside of these anime made me videos, what to talk about, but all I can really do is be honest, because it's not really in the review, because these aren't unbiased opinions, if that makes sense. There's a lot of bias to me wanting these pieces of gear because I saw them on a show that really made me desire owning them. I'm glad you guys are tuning into these. I really appreciate that, man. And this is a really fun one to try out. This was a really fun one to see and get to mess around with. The thing's loud, man. It's loud and it's huge, but it's really cool.